Hey everyone. Let's see who's going to join me. I know that it is late at night. I just finished teaching my class and I wanted to get on here for a few minutes talking about letting our love rise above every fear. And I'm not sure who's going to join me. I don't even know if I can see the comments right now. But let's talk. Let's talk. So, what is it about this letting our love rise up above every fear? I got something in the mail today. Let me share it with you. This is the second wave of my book called The Voice of Hope. It is about inspiring untold stories of caregivers for caregivers. And I remember when I was writing this book a couple of years ago, I guess we put it out last year, there was a lot of fear. There was a lot of fear as I was putting this book together, as I was creating it. And let me tell you why. Because as a speaker, what do you do when some of the stories that you have are too difficult to share? What do we do when the world around us is falling away by the wayside? And how can we be able to reclaim our power, stand fully in it, and become unshakable even in the midst of chaos? So one of the things that a lot of you don't know, I love you all, my friends and family. And while I was writing that book, I was teaching and certifying life coaches around the country, mostly on the East Coast. I was also pregnant with my daughter, as well as finishing up another book. And whereas business was going so successful, my world was shattering around me. Like I said, what do you do when some of the stories that we have are too difficult to share? What we do? Hey, kitty. I'm just seeing you too. We share them anyway. What do? We let our love rise above every fear, kitty. You know, a lot of times we have problems and we have battles, and some of the battles that we're experiencing aren't even ours. They're maybe our loved ones. And for example, right now, the whole world is in a global pandemic. This is something that whereas I thought that I was nice and safe on my little Eastern Shore of Virginia, we are now a hotspot for this coronavirus. And it's come close to home. So there is love and there's fear. Tell me, I can see now, what are your greatest challenges? What are some of the things that are causing difficulty in your life? So there's only a couple of things that we can do when fear arises. So for those of you who may not know, I dealt with fear a long time. I struggled with depression when I was pregnant with my daughter. I struggled with prenatal depression. I struggled with postpartum depression. And I still had to be able to continue on the journey. So it's about feeling the fear and doing it anyway. What is it that we've been called to do? What is it? It's like, how do we respond? We cannot control this pandemic, yet we can control how we respond to it. We cannot control the things that happen in our life. As much as we would love, is there anybody else who would love to control everything that's happening within our household? While we may not be able to control the external, we can control how we respond, our internal voice. So when we're faced with fear, this is kind of what I want to share with you. When we're faced with fear, we can either, remember, fear is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. And when it comes, we can either forget everything and run, or we can face everything and rise. And you know, it's not just about facing everything and rise, ladies and gentlemen. It's about getting to that point where we can be able to feel everything and relax. When there's no enemy within, the enemy without can't touch you. There was a speaker who I was listening to recently, and he said that this disease will kill us mentally and emotionally more than it physically ever will. So it's about reclaiming our power. And when we run away from the burdens, we miss out on the blessings. What are we running from? Sometimes we run from ourselves. Yet, everything that you've gone through, everything that you've experienced, will all turn out to work for your good. It'll all turn out to work for your favor. I used to wonder, why the heck am I going through all of this? And the reason why was to be able to support people on the other side of the journey. Because we all have a calling. We all have greatness within us just waiting to be unleashed. Are you tapping into your greatness? Are you tapping into your calling? Tell me in the comments, what is the biggest thing that's preventing you from stepping into that bigger and better version of yourself? What are the things that you've been called to do? Now, the world may have paused, ladies and gentlemen. The world may have paused, but we cannot. We must continue. And then where are we continuing and how are we operating? Are we operating out of a place of pain, or are we operating out of a place of love? So how are you going to respond to this pandemic? What caused me to go on this whole journey of coaching and this whole trajectory is because 6 or 7 years ago, I was in my dream job, traveling the world, doing amazing things, but yet there wasn't an internal happiness. And then something happened. We've heard about all of these situations where people are being persecuted, even just for the color of their skin. And everybody has a purpose to respond to that. How can we be able to treat each other better? How can we do better as people? It's about becoming the one. Becoming the one for yourself and for the community that you serve. And honestly, we're all serving. If you're a mom, you're serving. If you're a husband, you're serving. If you are a daughter, you're serving. We're serving so many different people, but how are we serving? Are we serving to the place of depletion and burnout? Or are we filling our cups up so much that when we give, we're giving from our overflow? I just wanted to let you know tonight that you don't have to have a great past to have a great future. Regardless of what you've gone through, what you've done, what has happened, the time is now to be able to rise up above and recognize that everything that has happened in your life, while sometimes some of it sucks, it's not just happening to you, it's happening for you. It's pushing you up to be able to rise up. And now's the time. I know it's scary for a lot of people. Right now, what are the fears that we're scared of? Death, loss, illness. But the more that we strengthen ourselves, the easier it's going to be able to stand the test of time, to be able to battle anything that comes your way. Remember, you totally got this. I love you all, friends and family. Know that. Know that there's hope. There's hope even when sometimes it feels like there's no hope. There's possibilities for peace even though sometimes it doesn't feel like possibilities for peace. Sometimes we may be fighting against the odds, and the odds may not be in our favor. But yet, as we continue to endure, don't give up. Don't give up on your dreams or your callings or even your family. Hold the space for them. Hold the space for yourself. Because no matter who you think you are, you're so much more than that. Just ask God, he'll tell you that you're his masterpiece, worth far more than rubies in itself. I felt like with all of my skills and talents, God had given me gold, and I treated it like rocks. If there's any coaches that are hearing this message, and maybe you have lost your job or you have lost a situation, well, what have you gained? The opportunity to be able to step into something new. So there's 3 things I'm going to end with today. We need to lean in to what's going on. Lean into getting awareness of what's happening. What are you avoiding? What are our distractions? What are we tolerating? Then recognize, what do we have to let go of? What do we have to let go of so we can be able to move forward? I love you all. I hope you have an amazing night. Let me know what you think about this. Please share in the comments below. Was this helpful? My desire is to inspire and to let you know that you can tap fully into your power and you can stand firm and become unshakable, even in the midst of any great challenges that may come to you. And that's only the beginning, because you can be able to get to the point where you can stand firm, be unshakable, and feel safe and secure and supported all at the same time. It is totally possible. Ladies and gentlemen, rise up. The time is now. If you feel like you're a messenger, that you've been called to be able to be of service to other people, own that. It's a gift. Sometimes we might see it maybe as a burden, but it is really and truly a blessing in disguise. So just remember, there is hope. It is totally possible. In order for me to have written this book, like I said, great fear. But I felt the fear and did it anyway, because I knew that it was going to be something that was going to be of service to so many more, and I had to get out of my own stuff. So sometimes we can feel like we're walking through the valley of the shadow of death, and remember, you are not alone. Do not go the battle alone. Have that support and seek that foundation and that solid rock foundation that you need to be able to step into that bigger and better and most amazing version of you. All right, I love you all. Have a great night. I miss seeing you all too. I know we're socially distant, but just because we're distant don't mean that we can't connect. And that's what it's about. Strengthening those relationships while we're here and being present in the moment, right? It's about healing the past so we can live in the present and have a bigger vision for our future far behind what we could ever imagine. And it's going on the hero's journey. So let me just let you know about the hero's journey real quick. I know I said I was going to get off, but one more thing. The hero's journey talks about a person who has went out and venture into the world, and came across a great battle, a great conflict, a great obstacle where it was almost like there was no way out of it. Then they rose above it, they conquered it, right? And then they were able to go back, returning home, transformed, to be able to be that one and be that calling for those that needed them. So maybe this is part of your hero's journey. Remember, what we go through, we grow through. Allow the growth to happen. Pay attention and be aware, because there is so much more to life, and the blessings rain down if you allow them to. And you may not know how, but don't worry, I got your back. There's some stuff coming. Get connected. We're actually masterminding next week on how to stress less and strengthen our relationships with ease. Because what is the purpose of all the success in the world if we don't have anyone to share it with? Never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. And home is the foundation from which everything flows. This is the reason why there's such turmoil sometimes. Because now everything has become to a pause. And it's almost like we have to be still and know that God is God. And before we can go off and take over the world, our houses have to be strong. If a house is divided by itself, against itself, that house cannot stand. This is Mark 3:25 in the Bible. Not only our physical house, also our body is our house too. How are we divided within? It's time to heal that within, bring it to wholeness. So therefore there's peace within. And the peace within, first of all, the peace from above, comes like a flood to those who earnestly seek it. And the peace within will automatically manifest the peace with others. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes the fruit of the Spirit. Love, joy, long-suffering, forgiveness. Okay, I'm gonna go now because I know I can keep going. But listen, this whole thing about forgiveness of self and other people. Be patient, love and forgive. You may want to strangle people in this moment. Just love them anyway. Okay? And this too shall pass. All right, I'm going for real this time. It's time for bed. I love you all. Have a great night. Let me know what you thought about this video and how it impacted you. And feel free to share it. Because you know what? Other people need encouragement too. We're all in this together. In some way, shape, or form. And then we're all also going through this alone in some way, shape, or form. Yet remember, we're stronger together. All right. This has been Dr. Heather. Peace.